What's up, everybody? Live update right now. Jake Haro has pled guilty, guilty to killing baby Manuel. Jake Haro and Rebecca Haro went to court this morning, and Jake Haro pled guilty, man. So now the next phase is that they will be going back to court, or Jake will be on the 3rd of December for sentencing. And we're still yet to see if the charges will be dropped for Rebecca, or if they're going to continue to charge her with this case. But Jake did plead guilty. He admitted guilt today, and seems like he's trying to ride this one out for Rebecca, man. So not too sure on what deal that was offered, but he just did accept full guilt. I knew it. He got a deal by pleading guilty. He got a deal. He got some sort of a deal, and he did plead guilty. Now, as far as Rebecca, she did not plead guilty, but she's going to be judged. I was thinking that maybe she would point the finger at Jake, but for whatever reason, at least this is the next step into justice for baby Manuel. Maybe, quite possibly, we can get the full story and the whereabouts to where they actually dumped baby Manuel. But wow, guilty as charged. He did plead guilty. Now that doesn't mean that he's not going to get life without the possibility. He definitely took a deal. There was a deal in the works, and I'm very shocked that Jake decided to go plead guilty. No, he will not be in general population lethal, not with charges of killing a child, not even close. I believe that Rebecca was covering for Jake. I believe, and it's a surprise that Rebecca was willing to go all the way, whereas Jake wasn't. But that's the cowardice in him. Any man who kills, beats children, beats women, they're cowards. And the coward showed that all he cares about is himself. Now, he did not throw Rebecca under the bus by him pleading guilty. That's basically saying that the lie she made up, the whole Ola story, was fake. And so that puts her in at least a guilty phase of falsifying information to a police officer. She's just as guilty. So now we're going to see what happens with Rebecca. Obviously, man, Jake was scared or was just tired of being in county jail, and the deal was too good. Hopefully had to tell what happened and where the baby is. I am shocked. He pleaded guilty. He did plead guilty. They just got out of court a little while ago, and there was a lot of tears. Rebecca was crying. Jake was crying. All the witnesses that were in the courtroom were crying. It was surprising that he admitted guilt. This was unexpected, but this is something I banked on today. I knew that there was going to be something big happening today. I know how county jail will break you. And I think because of the circumstances of Jake, because of Jake having, this criminal record, admitting already being convicted of willful cruelty to a child, his daughter promised, that something like this was going to happen. He knew that the cards were stacked against him. Now, as for Rebecca, that's a different story. She did not plead guilty. She's kind of going with the flow, and I believe she's going to be offered a deal as well. She has yet to take that deal, but we do know that Jake and Rebecca are guilty of murdering baby Manuel. It's final now. Now he's got to go through the penalty phase. Again, just because he was offered a deal, I don't know the details onto the deal yet. I'll be trying to get the details for you on the deal that he took. But just based on that he took a deal doesn't mean that the judge has to stick with the DA's deal. The judge ultimately, when it comes to the penalty phase of giving him the time, the judge could do whatever the hell he wants. This judge, I believe, is going to lay a demo down. I believe that Jake is going to receive life, maybe with the possibility or not the possibility of parole. I'm not quite sure yet. That depends upon if he tells the full story, but there was tears all around in the courtroom. And again, man, like I say, it's all up to the judge. That's why the judge, that's his job to judge, right? So just because you take a deal doesn't mean that the judge has to stick with the prosecutor's deal. The judge could take into account the details of the case, the evidence, the circumstantial evidence, and can now basically say, I'm looking at giving you this amount of time, but if you come clean and you tell us the whereabouts and exactly what happened, then quite possibly the judge can make the sentence a little bit lighter. I don't see him getting out, period. He's going to do time. He's just admitted on murdering his own son. And again, Rebecca was crying in the courtroom. This is coming from a witness that was actually right there. And she did not admit guilt. So now it's kind of like, what's going to happen with Rebecca Haro? Is Rebecca Haro going to stick to her guns and try to fight this out because Jake has now admitted all guilt? Is she going to go for the battered woman and that she didn't want to tell because she was scared? Because she could still use that as a defense. Or is she going to get a lighter sentence and a lighter deal than Jake? Or are they going to try to prosecute her just as well to the fullest extent of the law? We're going to find that out. But at least we get some closure today with the fact knowing that Jake has admitted it. There is no more, we didn't do it, I'm not guilty. He actually chose to take whatever deal they offered him. Now, like I said, I'm going to get the details into that deal. But a deal doesn't mean shit. Okay, a deal doesn't mean shit. We should be happy right now. We should be happy that this monster will never, ever be around children again. We should be happy that this monster will never be around women to beat on them again. You know, that's a win. Now, there's no more Ola Man. Ola Man was never real. I want to send a big shout out to everyone who kept this case going along with me. Big shout out to Ahmed on the tira, who's seen it for what it was from the beginning and pressed on their motherfucking necks. Respects for that. We might not see eye to eye, but I see your eyes, homie. I want to say big respects to everybody who continued to support justice for baby Manuel. And it's a big day for us. And I knew it was. That's why I dropped my video earlier. Now, yeah, where's Auntie Sylvia now? We want to know if that's right, Pepperonis. Where's Sylvia saying, oh, he would never do this to children? Where's Rebecca? Her fat ass should be locked up just for saying, my husband would never hurt a child. No, he wouldn't. He'd kill a child. You'd hurt a child by not protecting him from a monster. I still honestly believe Rebecca is just as guilty. I believe she should get the same amount of time, if not more than Jake, because at least Jake had a little bitty, itty bitty speck in his heart to admit guilt, and he did it for selfish reasons. She was just changing his diaper. Nah, someone's gonna fuck you in your ass. You're gonna have to change your diaper, stupid. Look, I'm gonna keep continuing to bring coverage on this case because I believe baby Emmanuel needs a voice. The truth always comes out, Patty. It always rises to the top. So again, for those of you that are just coming in, we got 244 in the building, man. Thank you guys for all the support. Every bit of support helps my channel. You guys have been here from day one. You've been rocking with me. I've been rocking with you. Thank you. This is breaking news. Jake Haro has admitted guilt into killing baby Manuel. So justice is going to be dealt out. Now, I believe it's December 3rd is when he will be going to court for the penalty phase. And again, just because you take a deal doesn't mean you get a deal. Okay? Now, as far as Rebecca goes, I believe somewhere in the meantime, in between time, before Jake gets sentenced, she will also take a deal. I'm hoping that they will at least tell us where they put baby Emmanuel. We know that Jake killed him, or at least he's admitting guilt. Rebecca, with her dumb ass, isn't. I believe Rebecca is actually the one that did the actual murder. But of course, there's something in Jake's heart, which is the amount of time he believes he's going to be given, that made him admit it. I'm just happy that we can get some closure for baby Emmanuel and promise, and that this fucking monster is going to be locked up forever, hoping. Now, there's people that are saying he might get 15 to 20 years. No. Killing a child, admitting you're killing a child is life. Okay? As far as without the possibility of parole, I can't call that. I can't call that, man. But life, most definitely, they're both guilty because she lied too. Where's the baby? Kathy, I agree with you. I'm right here with you. Okay? I'm right here with you. I agree that they should not be given any deal, or a deal should not been put on the table until they said the whereabouts of baby Emmanuel, or at least what actually really happened. Now, will the story come out? I'm sure it will. I'm sure Jake's lawyer will spill the beans eventually. I'm sure that the truth will come out, or at least their version of the truth, like I said in my earlier video. But I told you guys this morning, I believed Rebecca was going to confess and throw Jake under the bus. But there was a cold twist. Jake decided to admit guilt. Now, is that throwing Rebecca under the bus? By proxy, it is. It is throwing her under the bus because what it is saying is that his wife made up this whole story, that she lied about Ola. So she's basically complicit to the murder. If not actually doing it, which I believe she actually did it hands-on, she is complicit. So basically Jake flipped, and Jake admitted guilt and didn't care about Rebecca whatsoever. Her charges are going to be changed on the November 3rd court date. Excuse me, it wasn't December 3rd, it's November 3rd. They will probably minimize her charges to accessory to murder. Okay, this is just what I think. She'll probably get an accessory to murder, of course, falsifying a police report and being a stupid ass. And that right there should carry life for being a dumbass. But to be totally honest with you, I think Rebecca's going to look at anywhere from 10 to 20 years, even though we know she deserves more. But this is just without having a record, without them having a body or having a murder weapon. It looks, and with Jake admitting guilt, she's not going to go away unscathed. She's not going to get out. They're not going to drop all charges. I guarantee. Martin, I'm talking about Rebecca dumbass Haro. Jake Haro admitted to killing baby Emmanuel, his own son, this morning in court. The Ola thing is complicit. Absolutely. The moment she came up with that story and it came out of her fat ass fucking mouth and she said Ola hit her and took her kid. I mean, who did she think we were? We're not stupid. There might be some officers that are little stupid, but not us, right? I want to say a shout out to the community, the true crime community, and a shout out to all you who kept it going, who kept tapping into my videos. I'm not going to stop. We're not done. I want to say thank you to everybody who participated in helping on the tira. I want to say shout out to everyone that stood rocking with me throughout this. I know a lot of people fell off. You know, one good story deserves another. But when it has to do with a child who became like our own child, we want to see justice. So today is a good day. Today's a great day. Today, we could honestly sit back and say, at least, this monster will never be around children again. And at the very least, that's great. Now, as far as Rebecca, she has to live her life knowing that everyone already knew, and now everyone looks at her as a liar. Her family shouldn't be shocked. Her family should ostracize her from the family. She should not be allowed to be around children, I believe, as well. But the cool part about it is she's probably going to get anywhere from 10 to 20 years. Sentencing will be even better. Sentencing is going to be great. Sentencing going to be great. And you know what? Someone's like, oh, we got to respect Jake for this. Fuck him. I don't respect a man who kills his child and then lies about it. We need to know where baby Emmanuel is right now, not tomorrow, not November 3rd, not December. We need to know right now. For them to even offer this man a deal shows that the prosecution's case was a little bit flim-flam. It was a little flimsy. And I admitted that, man. You know, without a body or without a weapon, everything is just circumstantial and everything can happen. I'm just glad that it did not go all the way to the box because you never know what could happen. You can never trust people to agree. Chub Love, what happened? I just chimed in. Jake Haro admitted guilt today and pleaded guilty to the killing of baby Emmanuel. In doing so, that means Rebecca will probably get charges dropped as far as the murder and be probably charged, and this is just based off my assumption and my perspective, probably be charged with being complicit in the murder, which is basically, you know, she aided and abetted. She definitely she still will have some type of charge that's going to carry 15 to 20, but I don't believe she's going to be charged with the actual murder. I believe charges are going to be dropped. But the truth is out. Just like we thought, just like on the tira said, just like I've been saying, just like every one of you have been thinking and saying, this man killed his baby. Not his baby, our baby. Mijo belongs to us now, right? He killed baby Emmanuel, and Rebecca was complicit in the murder. Now, Rebecca did not admit guilt. She will be, accessory. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, Little Red. I'm pretty happy right now. You know what I'm saying? Hola. Now we can say hola again. You know, hey, thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, everyone who shows me support, man. I really appreciate that. For a while there, I was refusing the word hola being allowed in my home. I just couldn't. I'd be in town and hear someone say hola, and I couldn't get it. Now, that guy has opened the door for hola to be said again because we know there was never no hola involved. It was tonta. Piruja, Peyoya, and fucking her fucked up old man who has now admitted guilt. At least I could give him that he finally did something right in his work, in his badass life. Yes, excited, Little Red. So I believe she's going to be charged with accessory. I don't know if it's after the fact or accessory during the fact. We'll find that out. I also believe that the charge of falsifying information, a fake police report, that automatically is going to stay because we know Ola is fake because he admitted it now. There never was no Ola. There never was no football game. There never was no mouthpiece. There never was no punch thrown besides the ones he threw at her. There never was anything. There was never no going out and searching for baby Emmanuel when this fucking piece of shit already knew where baby Emmanuel was the whole time. Hopefully we can get the true story because I think we deserve it. As much work as we have put in to this case. And I'm just happy. It's a great day. I knew something big was going to happen today in a felony conference. Like I said, a felony conference isn't necessarily an actual, it's a court date, but it's not actual a part of the pretrial or anything like that. And so I don't know whether a deal was put on the table and his lawyer, Jake's lawyer, worked it out with the district attorney, or that Jake's lawyer just advised him, if you admit guilt during the penalty phase, you could probably face less time. I still think he's going to get life. I think anything less than life is uncivilized. I think life, a life should count for life, right? Now, as far as Rebecca goes, what type of tedious ass, evil ass bitch sits there and watches him and cries, admitting guilt? Is she crying for baby Emmanuel, or is she crying because of the situation she's in? I choose door number 2. She's crying because she knows now that she's going to do some time. She's not crying because of where her son was at or the incident that took place. She's crying now because she got caught. That's like a lot of people, man. You always see these pictures, these mugshots of people in prison or in jail, and they got tears in their eyes. Motherfucker, you weren't crying when you were selling dope to that basehead. Now all of a sudden you're crying because you got caught. Hey, take it on the chin. Do your time. You want to hurt kids? You're going to fucking do time around people that hate people that hurt kids. There are people in PEC that will take care of him. There's people in protective custody yards that may or may not put hands on him. Is this a rerun? This is live. Ash Mace, this is live. I'm live right now. How are you doing? I'm actually live. This is breaking news. Baby Emmanuel, finally, we're going to see some justice. His father, or lack thereof, right? Whatever you want to call him. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate you so much. Jake Haro, the man who biologically made him, admitted guilt today at the felony conference. This was, again, I thought something big was going to happen today. I dropped the video. Make sure you guys watch that video. And I was wrong. I actually thought Rebecca would be the one to do something. But I'm actually glad that Jake admitted guilt is now being punished, hopefully to the fullest extent of the law, because we are also getting justice for Promise. Not just baby Emmanuel, but also Promise. So now it's Rebecca's turn. Says, let him, did she not protect her beautiful, innocent baby? No, she's definitely going to suffer the repercussions of Jake and her actions. Look, a woman that is complicit, meaning she knew that he killed her kid and she came up with that story, that's just as guilty as the person who killed the baby, okay? It's all about being complicit and knowing what this animal and this monster did. His sister, Sylvia, I believe should be charged because I believe she knew all along as well. She was protecting her brother. The moment she said, my brother would never do nothing like that. We can't eat. We can't sleep. We can't watch Netflix. We can't smoke caca. We can't do none of that. Caca's old school. Those that know what I'm saying know what I'm saying. That's back in 96, right? Now it's called sharps. But anyways, for her to sit there and say they couldn't do all that, when all this whole time Jake and Rebecca were hiding a secret. I don't think it was a secret to Sylvia. I believe Sylvia knew too, because we never, ever seen her again. I don't know if we're going to find out the reasoning behind this murder, but I believe the judge and the prosecutor owe it to the community, society, and people, as well as these detectives and on the tira, myself, everyone who put in the work, right, that we all deserve to hear an explanation. Now, nothing can be an explanation for the murder of a child. Not at all. There is no explaining that. That's not an accident. That's not a mistake. That's not a fucking, none of that. It's a piece of shit in disguise as a parent who's utilizing the system and just had, for whatever reason, didn't want that child around anymore. Yes, Pepperoni says Sylvia is posted up in the house where they killed him. Crazy, right? You know, it always boggled my mind that Sylvia never mentioned Promise. She is the aunt, so supposedly, right? To Promise, and she never mentioned her. To say my brother would never do anything like that. Bitch, he already did. He already did. And so now him admitting guilt is a form of throwing Rebecca under the bus. Because what's going to happen with Rebecca now is now everyone knows she lied. So now she's going to have to come up with some type of story. You know, I don't know if Jake is willing to take the full brunt and force of the murder without Rebecca, but she definitely is complicit and she definitely is an accomplice, you know, to some degree. And I believe she's going to get at least 20, maybe 15. Is there get backs for Rebecca? No. Any mother who would allow her child to be killed or kill her child, there needs to be some type of operation where she can't have children anymore. Now I believe, thank you, Bubbles. Absolutely, I agree. What I believe now, what's up, what I believe now is we need to be told what they did, exactly what they did with baby Emmanuel. So maybe, perhaps we could find him and he could get a proper memorial and a proper burial. Because if anything, man, it's not all about Jake and Rebecca and how much time they get and what they do. I could give a fuck less, man. I hope that he goes to a yard on day one. It's all bad, and I'll leave it like that. As far as Rebecca goes, I know it's probably going to be worse. I'm going to admit this. It's probably going to be worse for Rebecca than it is Jake. Do you need an explanation? I'll explain it. Okay? Juicy Fruit, thank you so much, beautiful. I appreciate you. Let me tell you how. In these women facilities, what's up, beautiful Delane? In the women facilities, there is no protective custody. There is no hiding. There's a lot of mothers there that, albeit have done some bad things in their life, not necessarily killing their children or abusing their children, but have done things that you could say is pretty controversial when it comes to like drugs or assaults or whatever. And they're locked up. They're not the best mothers in the world. They're not on the fucking Mother of the Year award club, right? But they still love their children. And when women come in that have abused or killed children, they are feeling some type of way, and they have more action at Rebecca than the men will have action at Jake. Here's the explanation. That means Rebecca will be placed in not protective custody. She will have to earn her way there. It's not like the men's side where you could check in or you could roll it up or whatever. Doesn't work that way for the women. She has to go and face these women on a general population yard. Now, Pearl Fernandez, who killed Gabriel Fernandez, who was involved in that, did have to go for a couple years on GP. Her face was cut. She had hot water thrown on her. She was beaten several times, right? Until eventually they put her on a yard where she's around other people of like-mindedness, people that are like her, and she's doing her time, but it's still not good. Gypsy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. With Jake, he's going to go to an SNY yard immediately. Okay, because of the case, because of the charges, he will be placed on a SNY yard. Look, he'll be placed on an SNY yard no matter what because of the Promise case. He already has a bad case, right? Depending upon the yard that he's placed on, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to assault him or run up in him or do something bad to him. Okay? That depends on who's there. Now, Dylan, I agree. He has become somewhat of a trophy because baby Manuel has now become our child, right? The community, the societies, everybody. And I'm going to be honest with you, and not to be racial and not to be prejudiced and not to say people do it differently, but in the Mexican-American community, in the Raza community, man, in prison, no matter what side you're on, active or not active, Mexicans feel some type of way about that. Not saying brothers don't and whites don't, but I know that Mexicans will push a fucking issue. Okay, so if he goes there, he could quite possibly, run into the wrong people. There are non-active prison gangs that he's going to be around that ain't got no love for these chomos or weirdos. So at the very least, he's definitely going to get extorted and probably ran up on and questioned. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys it's going to be all bad every day because, of course, you got Gabriel Fernandez's stepfather, that idiot, Asado, right? That's over there in Corcoran as we speak, functioning on the yard. He has been assaulted a couple of times. I did a video on it when he was recently assaulted. He's a trustee. I don't know if he still has that job, but that's what he was doing. Anyways, I compare those two cases because I will never let baby Gabriel's name be in vain. I'm always going to keep that one going too. That's just how I feel. Why is the mainstream media saying that this was a settlement conference and a preliminary schedule for October 8th? Where is the resource? Look, this was a felony settlement conference. In a felony settlement conference, it's very rare to have those. But when you do have them, right, it is because the lawyers that you have, your defense team, and the district attorney are trying to come to some type of conclusion to the case, some type of deal, some type of they're trying to get an open and shut case. They're trying to do that's the settlement conference. Pre-trial means the start of a new trial. Rebecca Haro will still be having pre-trial. Okay, I believe in the meantime, in between that pre-trial, her charges will be lessened. Okay, we'll have to figure that one out. As far as Jake, he admitted guilt today. He took a deal. Wait, does this mean there won't be a trial? There is no trial, boss. There's Jake admitted guilty today. He pled guilty to the murder of baby Manuel. It's over. He pled guilty. Now, Rebecca did not plead guilty, so she'll still have a trial. But what they're probably going to do now that he's pled guilty is they're probably going to relook at her charges and either continue with what she has or lessen the charges. When I mean lessen, I'm meaning doesn't mean she's getting out. It means instead, because he admitted murder, if he says, hey, thank you, Yolanda, I appreciate that so much, girl. For him saying, I did this, right? They could look at it and say, okay, he admitted guilt. He's saying he's the one that actually killed baby Manuel. We can just get her for accessory. Or they could actually, quite possibly go all the way with her. It just depends on what her lawyers want to do and if a deal was offered to her. Jake got offered a deal and he pled guilty. There is no trial at this point. Okay? For Rebecca, yes. You got to understand there's separation of trials. So just because you have a crime partner doesn't mean you guys go to trial together. In some cases, it does work like that. But because these were husband and wife, I thought that they should do separation of trial anyways, because it's a conflict of interest, right? Because they can't make her testify against her husband and they can't make him testify against her. Thank you, Melmi. I appreciate that. Shout out to Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We got 433 in here. Breaking news again for those of you that just tapped in. No, there will not be a trial for Jake Haro today. He admitted guilt in the murder of baby Manuel. He has admitted that baby Manuel is dead now. He's admitted that a murder took place that he directly did. And so now, as far as Rebecca goes, it's kind of in question if they're going to continue to charge her with the exact same charges, or if they're going to lessen her charges, or if she's going to get offered a deal as well. Now, what Jake did by pleading guilty was kind of throw Rebecca under the bus, because by him admitting guilt, he's saying that Rebecca knew, that she knows what's up, because she's the one that came up with the hola story. So yes, we can all say hola again. Hola, right? We can all say it even because hola didn't do shit. Pobrecito pinche hola. Vámonos a la verga, hola. Yo quiero una pinche caguama de quien cobra. Hola's saying right now. He's saying, man, I want to get faded because hola didn't do shit. There was no hola. What there was today is guilty, right? Guilty for Jake. Are they going to tell where the baby is? Right now, all the information is not put out. I'm just telling you guys what I know, what was seen in court today by someone who was right there. What was the deal? They have not put out the details of the deal yet. Again, once I get these details, I will put them out, trustee, immediately. You already know what it is, man. I'm going to continue the case. We need the baby so he can rest in peace. I agree. Yolanda, hola, gracias, Leonard. Orale, you know my name? That's right. Respects. Thank you, your channel. Thank you. I appreciate everyone, man, who has supported my channel tremendously, who tapped in, who's a part of the memberships, man. We're not going to stop here. Ola got exonerated of all charges. Yeah, Ola got found not guilty today. Jake took the heat, and Ola got out the kitchen. Ola is not guilty, so we can start saying Ola again. What's up, Cheeks? How you doing? What's up, Teresa Griffin? How are you doing? Someone posted earlier in the thread that was supposedly in the courtroom that he pled guilty to second degree with 15 to life. Again, that quite possibly could be what happened. I didn't hear that, so I can't say whether that's true or not. But 15 to life sounds good to me, because I'll explain something to you guys about the system. And I know people are going to say 15 to life. Let me explain to you. In the state of California, more than likely, 9 times out of 10, life means life. Okay, you never want an elbow at the end of your day. You never want a letter at the end of your number. Explain something to you. That means he will have to do 15 years straight before he is eligible for parole. Okay, that means he has to be drama-free, write-up free, take all these different classes, have to do this before he's even looked at, right? And I'll tell you guys right now, on your first, when you go to the board the first time, it is well known. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is well known. I'm giving you guys game right here. I'm giving you guys a game, not giving up game. You're not going to get out on your first shot. Not close. Usually they're going to give you the middle term. They can give you 5, 10, 15, or however they want to do it. They usually hit you with 10 more years. So then he'll have to do another 10. Right up free, sucking on the fucking cops' chorra, brown nosing, doing whatever the fuck he has to do because no one's going to like him, especially the police, right? And then he has to go back up. And guess what's going to happen? Unless he could prove that he's a changed man, and we're talking about a man who killed his child, a man who abused a child, he ain't going nowhere, Holmes. Life for Jake Haro means life. Thank God he'll never be around children. Rebecca's a different story. I believe Rebecca's not going to get life. I believe Rebecca's going to get a date. Gunner, where have you been looking to see? But no, Gunner just tuned in. Hopefully now the snake will tell where the little papa is. I agree. Yesterday I wasn't feeling too good. I was sick. My diabetes was kicking in. So I took a day off. I put out a video in the morning. YouTube was having some conflict with it because I don't know. Those that got to watch the video know what I was talking about. I was talking about the other case where Mimi, is her name Mimi? Yeah, Mimi Garcia was murdered by her parents or by her mother, her boyfriend, and the aunt is involved. All right, Gunner, thank you for speaking on this consistently. I'm going to continue to do it. Question, Gunner, what's up, Martin? Shout out to everyone that's in here. Respects. I appreciate you. And I'm hoping that you guys continue to support the channel. You support all the content creators that kept this going, not those that fell off and decided, man, it just wasn't a juicy enough story for us, because I didn't care whether I got 1 view or 1 million views. I believe Baby Emmanuel deserves more. And now there's going to be justice. Jake is going to be someone's bitch. He's going to be someone's hola. Roseanne, thank you. Mitchie, thank you. What's up? So again, man, just to reiterate, before I get up out of here, Jake Haro admitted guilt today. He's taken a deal. The details of the deal I will put out when I confirm it. I don't want to just throw shit out there. I'm not trying to feed you guys bullshit nor lies. I want to give you guys the real. Does he have to say where the baby's at to plead guilty? That depends. Oh, we're going to get into that, Rose. I'm going to talk about Rebecca right now. That depends, man, on the deal, the wording of the deal. Now, again, let me explain this to you. Someone said that he was given a deal, 2nd-degree murder, 15 to life, right? That doesn't mean in the penalty phase the judge has to rock with that, okay? That doesn't mean the judge has to give him 15 to life. The judge can say, because of extenuating circumstances and that he just how he feels that day, he could say life without the possibility of parole. One thing we do know is that Jake will now not suffer the death penalty. That is off the table. That is gone, okay? The judge's not going to give him the death penalty because he wasn't charged with the capital murder. So he at least won't be getting killed, right? Not that I could say I would shed a tear over it, you know, but I still believe he's going to do a long time. Now, as far as Rebecca goes, her case is not over. She has not admitted guilt. Not to say that they're not working on behind the scenes a deal for her, but I think because she didn't admit guilt, that shows that if Jake admits guilt, she's going to get lesser charges. I believe she's going to get an accessory to murder 2 or murder 1, depending upon what they gave Jake. And I believe that she's going to get, of course, the falsifying the police report to the officers. She's probably going to get anywhere from 10 to 20 years. This is just what I believe. Now, I could be totally wrong. You had a cucaracha in the courtroom. I got cucarachas everywhere. Trusty. It's what I do, right? I got people that hit me up. Now, I will say this. There was tears shed. Rebecca was crying. Jake was crying. One of the defense lawyers was crying. There was people in there. Everybody was in tears. Nobody from Rebecca's family pulled up. Nobody from Jake's family pulled up. Where's Sylvia at now, bitch, right? No Sylvia, no fucking Timu lawyer. Nobody pulled up for Jake and nobody pulled up for Rebecca. And all I can say is that's the fucking way I like it, because they don't deserve anybody to pull up. You know, the only one that was not crying, well, he was crying. Ola was crying tears of joy. And what type of despicable ass, how sick are these people? Look, first and foremost, shout out to my raza. Shout out to everybody that's in here, man. But shout out to my peoples first and foremost. And I'll say this, the raza community for the disappearance of a child that they killed. Oh, he said, hola, bitch, keep hola out your mouth, right? The raza didn't do that. You did that. And guess what? We don't claim you. And I'm just going to keep it like that. Rebecca's sticking to the fake ass Ola bullshit. Good that she deserves. Oh, she can't stick to it no more. Jake already said he's guilty. So unless Jake is Ola, and quite possibly, all I know is that their despicable ass, punk ass fucking ways of blaming the raza, I mean, that detail she didn't need to throw in there. That's why we're judged the way we are and our people are hated on as much, is because you got people thinking automatically because he's a paisa, man, that he's not out there working, that he's trying to take your kid. He don't want your little motherfucking kid shit. You know what I'm saying? He got too many of his own. I'm just saying. I'm just happy that scumbag ass Jake Haro is going to get what he deserves, and that's life in prison. Now we're yet to see what's going to happen with Rebecca, but I'm pretty sure the audio cuts in and out. Is the audio cutting in and out? Or can you guys hear me? Hola. Can you hear me? Hola. Let me know. Right? We got 531 in the building. Thank you guys for all the support, man. Everything I get towards this channel helps me out tremendously. I appreciate you. I put in a lot of work. I'm having audio issues. I'm in the Matrix. Whatever the case may be, man, I was blessed with a big one and I'm living life, right? And I'm happy that Jake, the snake, has pleaded guilty. Now we're going to find out exactly what's going on with Rebecca. Since I'm having audio issues, it's the signal. Can't help it, man. Like I said, sometimes my shit blocks the Wi-Fi. I was just born that way. Thank you guys. Moni. What's up, Moni? You've been following me for a minute now. Moni, Jake Haro and Rebecca Haro went to court today. Thank you, Juicy Fruit. I appreciate you, girl. Jake Haro admitted guilt. He admitted guilty to committing the murder on baby Manuel. Okay. Anyways, Jake Haro pled guilty. I don't know what's going on with the audio, but I'm trying to be right here for you guys. So you're good. Thank you. I'm going to get up out of here. I want you guys to share this video, and it's all good. Jake has admitted guilt. When I hear some more details, I will bring it to you. Thank you, guys.